Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This session is about sociolinguistic phenomena and the changing world. I hope and expect that by the end of this session, you would be able to understand what is the significance of sociolinguistics in the context of the quickly, speedily, rapidly changing world in our times. We need to focus on two aspects during this session. One is the sociolinguistic phenomena. The other is today's world. I would like to start with the second one, that is today's world. If we think about today's world for a while, we would be amused with the speed of change that is taking place. We would be amused with the variety within this change. We would be amused with the multiplicity of the contexts in which these changes are taking place. And when I talk of today's world, I'm actually talking of globalization as well. You know, the boundaries of nations, of countries, and of states, they have blurred. People have come closer. They have come together. Identities have mixed up. And when I talk of identities, I'm talking of geographical identities, I'm talking of national identities, I'm talking of ethnic, and I'm talking of the cultural identities as well. Of course, the process is not that simple. There are a lot of challenges that are related to it as well. In this fluidity, in this speedy process of change, where, through social media, through an exposure to the rest of the world, people are very rapidly changing their own sociolinguistic contexts and practices, where their beliefs and value systems are being challenged and being modified, and with this their linguistic practices are undergoing changes. All this is a huge challenge when it comes to sociolinguistics or the study of language in this context. When we talk of the unique features of our changing world, in fact, the key elements that we find include super diversity. If you think of the olden times, if you think of a Babaji sitting in a crossing of a village, puffing at his hookah and thinking about his world, or talking to the group of people sitting around him about the world in which he, or as a matter of fact, they live, they would actually be talking about what? They would be talking about a very narrow, a very limited world. Same kind of concerns, same kind of language use, same kind of social processes, same kind of social values, same kind of beliefs that they all would share. But today is a world of diversity. It is just a single click away that you can look at other cultures, you can interact with other cultures, with other people, with other ethnicities. With a single click, you come across people who speak different languages. So this super diversity is a challenge to the study of language from the social perspective. For the sociolinguists, this sociolinguistic phenomena and how it relates to this speedily changing world is, it puts a real challenge in front of them. The second aspect that I would like to talk about this changing world as a unique feature is the increase in multilingualism. Because of this huge exposure to other parts of the world, to other nations, to other cultures, and to other languages, and because of this immense, I would say, interconnectivity of people, the result is that people speak more than one language. People speak two languages, or three or four, or even more than that languages. This multilingualism has generated certain other processes and has sped up the processes of code switching and code mixing, has sped up the process of language change itself. A lot of change, for example, in the vocabulary of Urdu can be noticed when we look at it in our own context. It has led towards language desertion, for example. People are leaving their own languages. For example, you would notice that parents in Punjab now do not want their children to speak Punjabi as their first language. So in all this context, what we need to think about is the linguistic communication, and we need to rethink about how, in this globalizing, ever globalizing, I would say, world, and in this context of globalization, languages are connecting, interrelating, competing with each other, defeating each other, making their place, or dying out. All this becomes very, very important as a sociolinguistic phenomena. There are certain aspects of linguistic hegemony that also are important with reference to the speedily changing world. And one of the important aspects of this is the spread of English. English has taken over the world, if you allow me to say, by a storm. It has emerged as a lingua franca, and it is being used worldwide for functional purposes and for international communication as well. Overall, what I would say is this is a more interconnected world. Interconnected world where the population is increasing, and not only the population is increasing, but also the mobility of this population is increasing. People are more mobile because of the means of transportation that are available now. People travel more, thus they connect with other people more. In this whole changing world scenario, and in the heterogeneous practices of languages where multiple languages are used, it really becomes a challenge for sociolinguistic studies and for the sociolinguists who are doing research in these areas, to explore all this. The most significant feature that I would say of today's times is the speed of change.